Hi, and welcome to another video. My name is Luis Alvarado, and on this video, we'll be talking about the SEO optimization that the BD owner can do on their site. So let's dig in. The first thing that you do is install Google Chrome. Why Google Chrome? Because one is free, two, it actually integrates the special tool called Lighthouse. Lighthouse is basically imagine the following. Imagine all the SEO testing sites that Google has. You know, page speed score, mobile friendly, the SEO one in regards to optimizing images and stuff like that, the usability one, etc., etc., etc. They had like 4 or 5 different URLs for that. Imagine they integrated all of them into a basically, let's call it a plugin. Actually, you don't find it as a plugin here, but it's basically integrated into the console of the Google Chrome browser. So to access this, if you're on Microsoft Windows or Linux, you can press F12, okay, and you'll see it here, Lighthouse. Or you can right click if you're on Mac or any other two, and you can click Inspect. It will take you to this console. This is basically for developers, but one of the options is Lighthouse. So on Lighthouse, you have different, like I was saying, they integrated multiple types of pages that they offer us as a testing base for your site into a single solution here. So you have a category for performance, PWA, best practices, accessibility, and the SEO. Right now, we're just going to target these two, performance and SEO, because they're basically the typical ones that you can um, optimize on your site. Best practices too, accessibility. You can also do those. I'm just going to leave them so you can see actually. And then you decide on which type of device you're emulating the test with Lighthouse. So right now I'm just using desktop. Obviously, desktop and mobile, they get totally different results, okay? Totally different points. They handle different, there are a couple of things that they actually handle different. So let's generate the report. The page will start, basically Lighthouse will start auditing the site. And let's see how it ends up on this testing site. And on this testing site, I got not good results, especially with SEO. It's horrible, uh, but not that bad either. Like I've seen worse. Um, so as the BD owner, there are a lot of things that you need to understand about what you can optimize on your end and what the platform can optimize on their end, and basically get to a middle ground, okay, between both. So on the performance side, I actually recommend everybody, if you get to this point on the performance, they have these little icons here. The one with the more lines, with the 3 lines, is just to explain a little explanation about what all this entails. Okay, so basically, to give you an overview, just a general idea of what this is. So the first contentful paint, or the FCP, and you're gonna see this initials a lot in the SEO world. The FCP is the first contentful paint, marks the time at which the first text or image is painted. Okay, it could be any image or text. The first one that starts to be rendered by the browser. So here you can see the timing. That's very good. Time to interactive. This is, a lot of people confuse this time to interactive, the TI, with the something called the time to first byte, the TTFB. TTFB is the time it took to start getting the first amount of information from the server to the browser. Okay, so the browser asked the server brought the information in. The moment that information gets to the browser, that's how long. That's a TTFB. Time to interactive is how long the page took not to load, okay, not to load, but for the user to be able to start using stuff here. Like it could be me being able to click on the main menu, me being able to click here and start searching for something. Okay, being interactive with the site. Speed index is basically, this is, I mean, you can learn more about this, but it's basically based on the average in the whole world. So speed index shows how quickly the contents of a page are visibly populated. Okay. Total blocking time, sum of all time periods. By the way, this can be affected by JavaScripts that you call from third-party sites and all that. The total blocking time, this is very good. So sum of all time periods between the first contentful paint and time to interactive when task length exceed 50 milliseconds, blah, blah, blah. What this means is from the moment that the first element got to the browser and started being rendered to the time you as a user were able to interact with the site, it took around this time, okay, between one and the other. So visually, basically, this translates to the moment that I was visually able to see something and then start using it. Largest contentful paint, or the LCP, marks the time at which the largest text or image is painted. Largest, this is very important, largest text or image. My largest, obviously, image here is, this monster here. And the largest text would be this one. And that's basically saying, well, it took a second and a half to show that, which is, it's bad. Okay, so it could be improved. And the cumulative layout shift, or the CLS, this is part of the core vitals that will be coming to on May for all sites, and that will be considered against the SEO ranking. But the cumulative layout shift just translates into the process between the page loading up until the whole page loads, and how much did the elements on what's called the viewport. Just in case so you understand, the viewport is the area on the browser that shows the page and that you're able to interact with. Okay, so basically this area from the header till whatever area down here I have, that's the viewport. So this cumulative, or basically the layout shift, means when the whole thing is loading, and this has happened on other sites. You will know what I mean when I say that when a site is loading and then you're about to click on something and that something moves around because the page is still rendering, that's a layout shift. That's the thing moving and doesn't let you click on it, or you know that you gotta wait for the whole site to load because everything is moving around. That's a layout shift. And the cumulative layout shift is a measurement of visible elements within the viewport that are moving around and should not be moving around, okay, because it confuses the user. There are other parameters that are used around the CLS that are part of the core vitals. But for example, the lower this is, the better for you. Layout shifts could happen because a CSS changed the margin or the padding or the width or the height of something, or they added border. Anything that changes what's called the box model. Basically, the box model is just like, let's just say it's the area in which a text, an image, a block, a container is in. So if they change the padding of it, the border of it, the margin of it, the width, height inside of it, that would probably, maybe, affect other elements next to it, underneath it, above it, okay, before it. So when that happens, that's what the cumulative layout shift is for, the CLS. So here, it's a good page. It could be optimized in regards to, I mean, the servers, the BD servers are doing a great job here. Okay. Basically, the only ones in yellow are not bad, but they mean that I as the BD owner, I have to optimize something here, because it's not BD's issue. Okay, their servers are performing good, at least here. Okay, on my side. And then I come to this point. Okay, there like opportunities that you can optimize to load the page faster and blah blah blah. In in some cases, well, actually, this is the cumulative amount of things that are shown here. So in my case, okay, but on most cases is the images. Like I have in previous sites, I've worked on sites that the homepage was 200 megabytes. If you don't know what that means, it means that the site was basically, at least for my criteria, it was 100 to 200 times bigger than it should have been. So pages need to be, at least a homepage, or specifically pages that get viewed more often on your site. The weight of the images in there, the amount of information that you show, etc., 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 needs to be very low if they're very popular pages. Okay, so the main issue that I always find on sites is the images. They need to be optimized. Um, Optimize means two things, by the way. It means scaling them down and adapting them to the actual space in which you're using them. For example, let's go to this image. Let me open that image. Let's see. Okay, you can see that more or less it's twice the size. Just so you know, Google does not penalize you in regards to SEO if the image is not exactly the same size. Obviously, it would be the best case scenario, but if the image is a little bit bigger, the actual natural image, the real image, is a little bit bigger than where that the container in which you're putting them in, you're don't worry about it. You're not, you won't be penalized because of that. Now, if this image it's I don't know, 10 times, 5 times, like something really huge, and you're only using it on that end, Google will tell you, Lighthouse will tell you something like, "Oh my God, you gotta make that thing smaller because you're gonna kill something." So there's a lot of suggestions here. Um, for the BD owner, it's very, very important for you to know that some suggestions can't be done. That's the part where I was mentioning the whole middle ground between the performance that the server can do for you, basically the platform, and the optimizations that you can do on your own. So there's some things that you can't do or you should not be doing because they either will remove a lot of UX, user experience, from the page, okay, or you will break something. So I've seen sites where developer or the actual owner, they try to optimize, for example, the Google map, the Google Places API map, and then they end up breaking the dashboard map, or they end up breaking something else. They try to move JavaScript libraries around, up and down, to position them better. They start breaking stuff up. They add a async or a defer to the actual JavaScript. Those are techniques that tell the browser to either load the JavaScript at the end after the whole page loaded, or when it is loading but without blocking the page. On both cases, there are scenarios where you can't use async or defer, or both. Um, but that's part of what basically the time that you need to spend testing out in regards to the libraries, just in regards to the JavaScript libraries. And every time you do a change, you have to test certain pages. The typical pages, just so you know, the typical pages that I test are a post page, like for example, when somebody creates a post, like a blog or something, the public profile of a member, the dashboard of the member, especially the contact details form, the home page, and any other special pages that I have, like feature pages. every time I do an SEO change, because on some, like all the pages are different on BD. Like all the type of businesses that I work with, most are different. And the way that the SEO optimization is done, you gotta be very careful what you optimize and how, or else you'll get a good result, but you'll end up breaking a page. Actually, the actual functionality of it. Okay. Um, so I'll just keep on going down here, and you can see some recommendations about, hey, you're running, I don't know, the Facebook customer chats thing here, and maybe there's an update, maybe there's a new version of it, maybe there's something, something, something. You can just read about the actual documentation of it. You can see here, learn more. I wouldn't be showing all this because they change. There's actually more than 100, okay, different combinations here. There's way too many. So right now, for my specific site, it's showing this. If you run this on your site, most likely you will have different times, but also different options here. Like for the opportunity, you might have more or none or different ones. I know this one, these two actually show a lot because they're the most common ones. These are the JavaScript ones that I was talking about. These are the CSS files, the, the styling sheets, okay, for the site. And you got to be very careful what you do here. Here are some that, for example, the system says remove this unused JavaScript libraries. Here's the thing. If you remove some of this, like the reCAPTCHA, and I'm just going to talk about the reCAPTCHA, but I got the form validation down here too. Even though the reCAPTCHA, you're not using the reCAPTCHA on the homepage, on other pages you are. So if you actually follow the steps that Google is saying here, you would end up breaking basically all the forms, and especially for the form validation. So basically now you have a security issue because you started following Google guidelines to the letter. So the Google guidelines are just to guide you, not to require that you do stuff in a certain way, because platforms do the stuff differently, businesses do stuff differently, the way that you want to target your audience is differently. um, the way that you want to post, or the way that you want to show posts is different too. So I could go on, but I think you got my point. Basically everybody's unique. So this part is just a performance. Now we're in accessibility. Accessibility is more about, before it was about helping people with any handicap issues, like they have problems with the eyes, vision impaired, hands, sound, etc., etc., etc. Now it includes a lot of, I would say, common sense. Like there are a lot of things that are being working with my partners, my BD partners over the years, which are part of, and I'm happy that are part of the core vitals, which is something that I've been always mentioning on the Google forums and stuff like that, which is very very critical. So, for example, um, you got a couple of things like the background and foreground colors do not have sufficient contrast ratio. So they're mentioning this part here. Okay, you can see in an overview of what they're talking about. If I look at this, they're talking about this area, and they're right. They're right. You and I might be able to see it, but other people might not, because this is light gray versus a white in the background. And they're right. This needs to be changed. It's horrible. I mean, if I were actually to start working on this site, this would be changed. Then they mention more points here. You can actually click here. Local business get listed today. Okay, let's see what they're saying about that. Low contrast text is difficult. They're saying that for some people, this red with white, it's a little bit difficult to see. Um, then we have the search. Then I can keep on going. Okay, basically they're giving you ideas about um, how to optimize the visual aspect of the site. There's a lot that I gotta fix. See, And then we have other failing elements. All focused elements must have a unique ID to ensure that's true. I can be doing links with IDs that actually don't explain. They get to a point where it's a little bit annoying, but it actually, if you take a closer look and you analyze why, and they're right. These links don't, the IDs don't actually help a lot, so they don't actually explain what that is. Exactly, something like this. Here's another one, and I could keep on going, and that's the accessibility. It's Let me see this one. Disabling zooming is problematic. Okay, the site by default, I didn't do this, but by default, he has this disabled. So for some people, they might need to zoom in and zoom out. So that's they actually give you an idea where this could go. You can click here, and they will guide you through where you can put it. Again, not in this case, you can put it there, you won't break anything. But again, like I was saying, some things, the moment that you do it, they might work on that specific page, but you ended up breaking another one. Okay? I'm not talking about this because this is all common sense here. This is all good. But there might be changes where you're not supposed to be doing it like that because it'll break the functionality. Here's best practices. Obviously, this testing site doesn't have an SSL. So basically now I created all of these problems. And then we got the SEO. So here are some basic ones, like descriptive link text helps search engines understand your content. This is something that has been here, I believe, for like 2 years, 3 years. It's basically you need to explain in a better way what the link is for. So if you just say click here, it's not very helpful. Okay, it doesn't tell me what's supposed to what am I supposed to get if I actually click there? What am I supposed to see? So links like password retrieval is good, but there's in somewhere here, maybe a pop-up, a modal hidden somewhere, they have a link that says click here. And click here is not useful. It should say, like, if this page is going to take me to the login page, log in now, or something like that. Okay, and that will be more helpful, more descriptive. Okay. Links are not crawlable. It's wow. Um, Maybe it's missing the href and it's a link. I would need to like check it out. I think it's missing the. Oh yeah, it's a data target. Yeah, this is a link that's there. It's a modal, but it's missing it's this. So this is missing the href. So the link, the Google doesn't know where to follow that link. Page is blocked from indexing. That means that I didn't go to my backend and create the robots.txt that you can find in the developer tools in the backend. Or I didn't create that, or it is created. Let me click on it. Let's double check. Okay, so it's only enabled for this ones, and then it's allowed for everything. Um, Let me see what else. Well, that's it. That's it for now. So we got that part there. Now, when you run the SEO checker, the Lighthouse, for each page, you get a different kind of analysis. So let's inspect this one. Lighthouse. Let me run it there. Make this. See how long it takes. And you'll see that the first score will be different. And also the suggestions will be different. So, okay, now you can see that there's more performance there. 75 on the SEO. You can see the FCP change, the LCP change, the CLS. It's the same thing there. But then you can see that I got different ones here. Okay. And you can see that this one's the same. Some are the same. Some actually changed. So here you can see now the SEO part is just it's just this. and that's it. But each page handles the same. The SEO optimizations that we do, we target the most popular pages, which are the feature pages, in all their search results, the member pages, which include the search results for members and the actual public profile of the members. Okay, and then we target the homepage. Obviously, we put more love into the homepage because it's gonna be the most visited page there. And that's it. That's the SEO optimizations that we do there, which is roughly 90% of the whole site. There's some heavy SEO optimizations that we can do on the site, but um, as a BD owner, I wouldn't recommend going crazy on the SEO until you actually have content. Content could be you creating unique content on the site, or you having members that are interacting with the site, that are adding information to the site. Okay, that are adding traffic, content, making the site useful, basically, and telling Google that it's useful. Now, to continue with the things that you can actually do to improve your SEO as the owner, let's go to the two types of pages. Actually, three types, but anyway. You got the static pages. Basically, you click on my content. No need to click on web page builder. If you click here, it will always go to the first one that you have on the list. So if I click on my content, it will open a page if I would have clicked on web page builder. These are the static pages, okay? With the exception of the home page, every other page behaves the same and it's basically done in a similar way, okay? And then you have the dynamic pages, which are the SEO templates here. So I'll click there too, and it's basically this ones, and I'll go over both of these in regards to SEO. So I'm gonna skip the home page because I'll leave that one till the end. Let's do login page, pricing page, about page, and any other page. Okay, so they're all the same in the following way. You can go here. BD offers you like a place where you can put head information for that specific page. Um, there's a lot there. CSS information, and then the SEO optimizations that you can do here. So you have multiple variables that you can use, dynamic variables. They're called BD SEO variables here, that you can use for the site. Okay, so like this website name would actually be the one that you put on general settings. Like if you go to general settings and you look at this, this is the website name. You got industry name too, profession name, website phone number, or just phone number, etc., etc. There's a lot of them. Okay, I'll create a video where I talk about many of them. You can also see them where basically when you're creating an email template. Okay, let's edit this one. You'll see them on the right side here. Okay, you can see many of them are here. Most of this, if not all, you can use everywhere on the site. Okay, there are some exceptions, like maybe the invoice and billing, but most of them you can use in any page, including the SEO part, which is this. So here, this is the meta title. Instead of editing the widget directly, you actually put the information here for this specific page. So if I were to go to the login page, let's click here, view page. And on Windows or Linux, I can press Control U. On Mac, you can just click on view page source. And if I go to the page title, you can see login now, site Inc. And that site Inc. is a website variable that I just mentioned. Okay, on the general settings. And here's the login now. If I change this to something else, it will kick in. The fact that the things that you actually need to know, the facts about the SEO that you can do on BD. It is highly recommended you customize your title and description for your site for your particular niche. Okay, you don't have to worry about keywords. Keywords are not used at all for SEO since 2009. Okay, they're merely used maybe between third-party systems, but not for SEO related keywords. They actually changed that. Long story about how between 2000 and 2010 there was a lot of spam, especially about porn, especially about drugs, especially about things regarding that. I don't know if you were one of those users during that time. You know that, for example, in my case, I was looking for tomatoes when I was in college for special curriculum there, and somehow I ended in a porn site. So it was because of this. Okay, these were sites that actually put thousands and thousands of keywords here, targeting basically popular keywords. So that's the answer to how come I put my keywords on my title and description and I still don't show us first is because the algorithm changed in the last 15 years, um, to not give so much priority or weight in regards to the title or description. Okay, especially for the keywords. This is 0. You can put whatever you want here. You'll never rank with meta keywords, especially with meta keywords. Here you also have the social media sharing. This uses the Open Graph technology, the meta technology there, which Twitter uses, LinkedIn uses, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, whichever you want to use, which is considered social media. They typically use the Open Graph or what's called the OG. You can search for this, and you could essentially use the same one that you're using as a page meta title here, which are for the bots, for the social media sites, for the OG, and the description for the social media description here, if you wanted to, or if you want to change things a little bit for social media sites, you can also do that here. You can also, thanks to BD, you can tell what image you actually want to showcase for this page when this basically this whole thing gets shared, when this specific page gets shared. So this is for the static pages. Okay, I'll just do another one. Let's go to, for example, pricing page. You'll see it's the same thing. I click SEO settings and I go crazy here. Okay, you can set it up there. Now, once you're done with your SEO settings, then let's jump to the SEO templates. Okay, so let me close this one, and here are the SEO templates. So the SEO templates, it's a little bit difficult to understand, but my basically the rule of thumb is that um, read the title. So here you got member profile, main listing. Basically, this means it's the public profile of the member. So if I were to go to my members here and just visit the page of one of them, like view live profile, this is that SEO template, which is ID. Let me double check here, 100. Okay, so it will be this one. So let's say that you want to change the SEO for all members. That's what these SEO templates or dynamic pages are for. So you click edit here. You go to the SEO settings. Well, now it's right there. By the way, there's some page settings here, additional page settings if you want to go crazy and start customizing things. But here, same thing, same rules. Okay, you can customize this to your liking. Um, same. You start editing those, and it's very important for you to know that the moment that you edit this, you're actually affecting all public profiles, all member public profiles. Okay, so you got those two there. Then, as the owner, you have a third place, which is in the static pages. You got the home page. Okay, you got the home page. This home page is a static page with some additional customizations that you can control, like it says here, on the design settings. So you got the design settings, and what are the things? Remember that the homepage is the one that gets basically 90% of the traffic. So what are the things that you can actually do here to enhance your SEO? Well, if you go to the homepage and you read this top hero section, the first one, the obvious one, are going to be the H1 and H2. that you need to target on the site. Obviously, in my case, these are not SEO optimized at all for the site. Like if it's a hair uh, salon site, it's a lawyer site, this is worthless. From the point of view of SEO, search our online member directory words, keywords are worthless. They don't tell the Google bots what the site is for, what this page is for, what you are offering, what services you're offering, etc., etc., etc. It's better if you actually showcase, or in a few words, you actually explain what they're going to be getting when they go to the site, or they do a search, or they, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so that you need to be clear. You need to teach, explain like a kid to Google what they are, they'll be getting here. Okay, when they start searching or they start doing something, you can add more sections here. And depending on the sections, for example, if you were to select, let's do one where they actually add more information, like this one, about website join offer. So that's like that thing shows at the bottom. This is another good one that you will need to enhance. Okay. And let's visit website. And then you'll see at the bottom, because it's the second section. But this is another one that you need to make sure that it explains a little bit what members are getting, what services you're offering, benefits, what the site is for, what are the needs that you're trying to cover, etc., etc., etc. It depends on your industry, okay? It depends on your target audience, all of that. So you'll basically know what type of words here. I can assist you, and other SEO specialists can assist you too, based on a lot of questions that we will ask. Again, type of industry, type of members that you have, how long you've been doing this, who you are, what the site is going to be doing, etc., etc., etc. So these are three of the main SEO um, places that you can edit. And then the last one, it gets a little bit tricky. Okay, but here's the one where you would put Google Analytics, Google AdSense. Maybe in the footer you can put Drip, Salesforce, uh, um, Mighty Networks. Many different codes that they can help in regards to um, you know, helping you with SEO through their sites. Basically connecting this site, your BD site, to theirs. And then I'm assuming you're setting them up to help you with the SEO, or at least email campaigns, marketing campaigns, like a CRM kind of thing. So that's basically, as the owner, the big things. There are a lot of small things, but these are the big things that you can do to improve your own SEO. Okay, along with the fact that now you know how to test the SEO optimizations on your site. Um, or if a third-party developer does it, then you're able to live, you can check them out without asking or guessing if the developer actually did something. So those are the things that you can use. Are apart from pages that you can check out, you can check what's called web.dev. Web.dev, you can see it here. This is one that I actually use to study a lot of new Google changes. Here are the web vitals that I was talking about, core vitals, web vitals. The typical metrics that fast loading time techniques, and there's a lot of content here. If you want to dig, if you actually want to go in the whole SEO part of it, here's excellent sources. Okay, on Google, I actually I every day I check the Google Webmaster Series um, with any of the Google staff that actually adds free content for everybody, and they do actually live meetings about that. And there's other pages, but basically I'm just giving you the official ones. From there on, you can take it to others. At least the official ones, they won't they won't make you go around stuff to get to the point. Okay, they go to the actual point that you need to know, why you need to know it in that way or that way. what are new things that are coming that you should be thinking about, etc., etc., etc. So with that said, I hope you like this video. It's for BD owners and developers alike. And then the next video will be talking about, or basically continuing this one, but for developers. Thank you, and think positive.